We also have over here on the right side, as you can see, all of majority of our little palettes and tabs, and by clicking on these, of course, it'll bring out the palette or the tab, and these can be pulled apart when you have several of them together like this. You can simply click on one and pull it apart, and it becomes its own palette, and you can mix and match them, and you can drag them back into this little sidebar by just pulling it over and dropping it in there, and there it is again. So we have flexibility in how we view these, and all of these little tab palettes are available if they weren't already visible over here on the right side. You can access all of them under Window, as you can see right here. Okay. Another important area that we want to look at is our options bar, and all of the Adobe programs function the same way with the options bar, and that's this area across the top. And you'll notice that as you go from one tool to another, what appears in the options bar will change, because these are the things that affect how these tools behave and what they're going to do. And so as we switch, most of the time, most of what we need relating to any individual tool is going to be visible here. In some cases, with things like the typing tools, they also are duplicated if we go over to our character palette, let's say over here. This is very similar to what is already up in the options bar. So it's really up to you. You have a lot of flexibility in how we access things. We also have our rulers, which is very important to bringing over guidelines and utilizing guidelines. Those will be mentioned in the next video. And what I mean is that guides are meant to help us arrange and just see what we're doing. We used to use color pencils for that. And so when I take my cursor and I put it over into the ruler itself, and click and drag, I can bring over guidelines. Okay? And so that's a pretty neat thing. And also our rulers themselves, if they are visible, at times they may not be visible in a way that makes sense to you. Unless you've been in graphics for a while, for instance, quite often things are in picas. Points and picas is a measuring system that that graphics people use, and we can go up into the main menu and preferences and change it. But if you come here and you're looking at things and you're going, what are these numbers? They don't make any sense. Simply take your cursor, put it up anywhere in this ruler area, and right click, and you see what happens. You get a little pull down menu, and so right here I can change. Let's go back to inches, and then you'll feel like you're on more familiar territory. So that's an important thing. And then when we have multiple pages, we can view the different pages by clicking on those pages in the Pages palette, or down here at the very bottom, we can cycle through our pages by clicking here, as you can see right here at the bottom. You can see that. I think I can, there you go. Okay. Or if we have any number of pages, you can see we have forward, almost like a little VCR, the little VCR forward and backward buttons that are available too. My little toolbar keeps popping up on me, my dock. But you can see right here along the bottom that we can click through the different pages. And also, while we're at it, here is the view of what we talked about with looking at two pages side by side, or as it was called facing pages when we were adding pages in the document setup. The last thing I want to point out is that with all the Adobe programs, whenever we go to any of these tools, quite often you will see that there's a little black triangle in the corner of the tool, and that tells you that there's some other options to how this tool behaves. And so when I click that and hold it, you'll see that I've got different options that pop up that affect how these different tools behave. And so that's another pretty important area to be aware of. But in terms of getting started, this will take you there, and this is a terrific software program. It is the replacement for PageMaker, and is clearly giving the other primary professional level page layout program, Quirk Express, a real run for its money. And I love it. I use both, and this is clearly the program of choice for me as far as a professional page layout program. So let's move on to the other videos, and I think you'll get a good grasp pretty quickly.